Name, Jah Daru, born 1943. Lived through the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. Came here at the age of 6 months old, of Panamanian descent and Crucian. And I lived in the Bronx, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, Pennsylvania, Detroit. And I'm a product of the Black Revolution, 1960s, and I presently reside in the Bronx. Being an adult at the time of 70s, greeting of people, a pound slapping each other on the hand, calling each other brother. As far as the N-word was concerned, it was a form of greeting. It was not an insult for one black to call another black, as it is now, nigger. A lot of people have a lot of disdain about the word, and because of its connotations and what it represented back in slavery and so forth, trials and tribulations that we carried with us from that. But strong people can take a bad situation and turn it into something other than that. So now that the N-word has become such a focal point, but people forget that the Irish was Dagos and the Italians were Wots and Spanish was Spics, and those were derogatory terms, and they seem to have lived through it. I don't hear no one speaking on that. They were minorities, and these were the words they were calling, but they don't carry it with them, and the N-word has become more synonymous with black people using it as opposed to any other people using it. What was the social groups like? Social groups were back in that time. Basically the same. You had your little in-crowd groups, and you had your flamboyant social groups, and you had, back then, we had clubs, social clubs. We used to give dances, boat rides and parties and stuff of that nature. We didn't go out to hit nobody in the head or steal nothing from nobody or prove nothing to nobody. We were more into dressing. Club could outdress the other club. What club could get the most girls were the Debs. The girls were the Debs to the boys. If the name of the club was the Temptations, you had the Temptations, and then you had Temptation Debs. The type of clothes that we wore were fantabulous, fabulous. We didn't dress disrespectful. Our bodies were covered for the most part, but we wore, the two sisters was very popular back then. They were called Polly and Esther. Polyester was the largest fabric mogul, and people were making mints off of it. Everybody had polyester suits and ties and skirts, and the only thing about polyester, don't get near a flame. We wore wedged heels and shoes that were called platforms back in the 70s. They were stylish and so forth. That was like the disco era. And there were doctors dietitists and stuff, made a fortune off of broken ankles and such. Dungarees was a big thing too. Sergio Valente and all the other guys. And at that time, the Gap was just coming out. What was more popular was the Banana Republic, which is owned by Gap now, by the way. They emerged. But as we moved out of the 70s, dungarees is the only pants that you can buy.